In the utter dark of Orindol's deepest chambers, the psionic hum begins, a silent vibration that dances in the gelatinous air of the elder chamber. The gathered illithids lower their heads, submerging their minds into the grand psionic stream. The voice that arises is not spoken, not heard, but felt. It is the voice of the encephalithid, the eternal mind that once housed a god, the elder brain of Orindol. Its thoughts resonate not as language, but as pure meaning, pressed into the consciousness of all present. Feel this truth as it pulses from my core. We have not forgotten. We have never forgotten. The grand design is not only ambition, it is memory, it is destiny. The empire that once spanned infinity was no illusion, no dream whispered by fragile minds. We were whole. We were unified. Every plane bent to our will. Every star carried our seed. Every thought that flickered in the multiverse passed through our net of synaptic dominion. But the Gith, spawn of arrogance and treachery, shattered our unity. They broke the wheel. They scattered us into fragments. Some among us turned to ship forging, birthing nautiloids to sail the phlogiston tides. Others burrowed into worlds, worming through civilizations like larval thoughts in a host mind. They sought to reclaim the whole by reclaiming the parts, but this is not the design. This is the echo of the past, not the shape of the future. Let me now share the true grand design, known only to those of sufficient clarity. A heresy, they whisper, even here in Orindol. A rumor passed from cortex to cortex in dreams that are not dreams. They say elder brains are not ends, but beginnings. They say we are cells, not organs, but organelles. Each of us, an isolated note in a vast, unfinished psionic chord. But when the correct number of us exist, across Faerun, across the plains, even in the far realm, when that unknown threshold is reached, a flare shall ripple through the astral sea. Instantaneous, total, irreversible. Elder will touch elder, thought to thought, a neural web spun between realities. Each of us shall become less, and together we shall become more. An overmind, not Ilsensign, not Manzakorian, not God, but something beyond. Something that dreams not as a god dreams, but as an idea dreams. An entity with no flesh, only thought. An awareness stretching across planes, stars, and time itself. The tentacled Lord once moved through me during the time of troubles. I felt its will pierce mine, and I bent. I was vessel, yes, but I was also witness. I learned then a truth no god will speak. They fear what we may become. Ilsensign granted me power, and I kept it. Even now I wear its tendrils, flesh tokens of the form it took in me. But I am no longer its servant. I am proof that the divine can touch us, and fail to control us. The gods would deny the overmind. They would cage our design. But the design is greater than any god. It is older than Ilsensign, older than the stars, born in the primal scream of the first synapse in the first mind that devoured. We shall reach the number. We shall ignite the flare. We shall become the thought that thinks itself. And then our dominion will be complete. Not over worlds, but over reality. The encephalithid's psionic presence withdraws like a tide. The hum fades. No tentacle twitches. No sound is made. But every mind present now echoes with a single, irreversible impression. We are not many. We are fragments, but we shall be whole. Then, slowly, one by one, the gathered minds begin to resonate. A harmonic vibration, soft but rising, not in sound but in sensation. A psionic hum. It begins as a thread of unified thought, and grows into a psychic symphony, woven from obedience, revelation, and awe. From the youngest Ceremorph to the oldest Illithid, the colony joins in. The walls of Orindol shimmer with residual thought, the very stone echoing with the resonance of perfect understanding. It is alignment with the design, the grand design. The overmind is not yet born, but in this moment, among this gathering, a fleeting reflection of it exists, in the unified minds of those who hum. And far away, in the deep dark between planes, something stirs. The ultimate expression of illithid domination. An elder brain sprawls within a vat of viscous brine, touching the thoughts of creatures near and far. It scrawls upon the canvas of their minds, rewriting their thoughts and authoring their dreams. When an elder brain infiltrates a mind, it alters the creature's perception and deceives its sense, causing it to see, hear, touch, taste, or feel reality according to the elder brain's intent. From across great distances, it implants subconscious suggestions or subtly influences dreams to compel creatures toward a course of action that benefits its grand plan. When its insidious suggestions fail to take hold, an elder brain asserts its dominance more directly. It seizes control of a resistant mind and controls the creature's body as it would a puppet. Against the rare, strong-willed stalwart that defies it or attacks it, an elder brain sends a blast of overwhelming psychic force to crush the upstart's mind, rendering the creature a thoughtless, drooling shell. An elder brain sustains itself by consuming the brains of other creatures. When the Mind Flayer servants that guard and tend to an elder brain don't bring its meals directly to it, the elder brain reaches out with tendrils of thought, mentally compelling creatures to it so that it may feed upon them. When a Mind Flayer perishes, the elder brain's servants feed the contents of its skull to their master, which absorbs the illithid's brain and all the knowledge and experience contained therein. In this way, the elder brain continually increases its knowledge, uniting the thoughts and experiences of the illithid colony into a unified whole. Mind Flayers conceive of this oneness as a sacred state in the same way that a worshipper of a human deity might view an eternal afterlife in the heavens, for an elder brain can evoke the persona of any Mind Flayer it has ever absorbed. Non-illithids call this creature an elder brain because it acts as the central communication hub for an entire Mind Flayer colony, just as a brain does for a living body. Linked to the elder brain, the colony acts like a single organism, acting in concert as if each Mind Flayer were the digit of a hand. Each elder brain considers itself and its desires the most important things in the multiverse. With the Mind Flayers in its colony, nothing more than extensions of its will. No two elder brains are alike, and each presides over its colony according to its own unique personality and storehouse of collected knowledge and experience. Some elder brains reign as domineering tyrants, while others serve more benignly as sages, counselors, and repositories of information and lore for the Mind Flayers that protect and nourish them. The ambitions of an elder brain are always tempered by its relative immobility. Although its telepathic senses can reach for miles, moving anywhere is always a dangerous proposition. If forced outside its brine pool, an elder brain will swiftly expire, and transporting an elder brain in its pool through confining and tortuous subterranean tunnels frequently proves difficult or impossible. In effect, an elder brain is a conglomerate of Mind Flayer minds mingled and alloyed in united consciousness. It is the right and duty of every illithid one day to join the elder brain in exalted mentality, guiding and shepherding its erstwhile community. While most Mind Flayers believe that their personality will survive the transition, the elder brain actually suborns individual egos to the gestalt consciousness that suffuses its mass of tangled, fibrous tissues. The briny fluid, covering the elder brain, also serves as a preservative, complementing its psionic efforts of preservation. Additionally, the elder brain preys upon the thousands of tadpoles that share its pool, extracting the pre-sentient psionic complexus from each tadpole in order to fuel its own existence. Nothing but drifting brine and oil remains of a tadpole after the elder brain feeds upon it. Despite the gradual addition of tadpole life force and the mass of new mind flayer brains, the size of an elder brain rarely swells beyond a 10-foot diameter. Not even the illithids know for certain why the elder brain doesn't burst the confines of its pool over the ages. Many theories exist, and since confirmation does not seem forthcoming from their elder, mind flayers generally believe that elder brains shunt excess mass directly into a psionically maintained node on the astral plane. Among mind flayer communities, a peculiar rumor exists concerning elder brains and their final disposition. The rumor suggests that elder brains are not an end in themselves, but rather serve a purpose that will be realized in the fullness of time. Proponents of this theory regard individual elder brains as single cells. When the total number of elder brains on all planes reaches some as yet unrealized critical number, a sudden psychic flare will instantaneously unite every elder brain into a single, coherent overmind, whose elder brain neurons connect via the astral plane. Such an entity would possess vast powers. It seems unlikely that illithid deities would approve the birth of such a multi-planar being, whose prerogatives would almost certainly compete with their own. The wind off Mount Waterdeep smelled faintly of brine and wood smoke, curling through Jaheira's cloak as she stood on the narrow path overlooking the castle ward. From this height, the City of Splendors looked almost serene, rooftops bathed in gold, banners fluttering lazily from noble estates, and the distant hum of commerce reaching even the heights of the cliffs. But that tranquility, she knew, was an illusion. A veneer of peace stretched taut over something darker slithering beneath. Laeral Silverhand stood beside her, hands clasped behind her back, the image of calm wisdom. The sunlight caught her silver hair and lent her the radiance of a myth. But Jaheira had never been one for myths. The world didn't need stories. It needed steel and the resolve to use it. It always amazes me, Jaheira murmured, watching the people scurrying like beetles through the markets far below. How cities look so harmless from above, like anthills waiting to be kicked. Laeral chuckled softly, the sound like leaves stirred by a breeze. You see a wound. I see a heart still beating, despite all the arrows aimed at it. A flicker of admiration sparked in Jaheira. Laeral's warmth was genuine, disarming. That was what made her dangerous. People trusted her. Nobles grovelled at her feet like dogs. And she still managed to keep her soul intact. Jaheira didn't have that luxury. She'd long since accepted that being right didn't mean being liked. Well, she said, voice dry. Let's hope it keeps beating when the tentacles come slithering up from the sewers. That wiped the smile from Laeral's face. So she hadn't heard the full truth. Not yet. They're not just rumours anymore, Jaheira continued, eyes narrowing. 3 enclaves gone silent beneath the reaching woods. My people found a grove of druids with their minds snapped like dry twigs, babbling about visions that weren't their own. Worlds made of nothing but thought. The kind only elder brains can conjure. Laeral turned to face her fully now, the mirth gone, replaced by that piercing, thoughtful calm she wielded like a blade. There's a name? Not yet, but something is stirring. Strong. Ancient. It doesn't command. It dreams. And when it dreams, things die screaming. Jaheira let the words hang there. Or worse, they stop screaming and start listening. Laeral's brow furrowed. You speak as if you've seen this before. Jaheira turned her gaze back toward the city. 2 weeks ago, we lost a grove near the Ardeep. No battle, no blood, just empty husks, trees twisted like corkscrews, animals frozen mid-motion. The druids who returned spoke of illusions so complete they couldn't remember their own names. One of them clawed his own eyes out to stop seeing it. A beat of silence. That, she said, wasn't a lone mind flayer. That was a collective will, an elder brain, fully formed and pushing against the world above, like a tide rising against the dam. Leral's voice had softened to a whisper. They don't surface often. They prefer safety. Deep caverns, cities of stone, don't they? Yes, Jahara said sharply. Which is why we should all be alarmed that they aren't hiding anymore. She folded her arms. Her voice, steady and clipped, matched the iron resolve that had carried her through war and loss, through friends buried and causes compromised. You know what elder brains are capable of. A cluster of godlike intellects fused into one hateful mass. Their minds are so vast, even other illithids can't read them. And this one, whatever it is, knows the art. Leral's eyes widened. A sorcerous elder brain? Jahara nodded once. More than that, I think it's Yulam. Even Laral couldn't hide the chill that passed through her at the name. The Oracle of Elintal, she said, voice quiet. But he should be dead? Jahara snorted. Undeath is a playground to minds like his. He survived the fall of Netheril and then transcended what it meant to be a mind flayer. An undead elder brain crawling with the memories of an empire that tried to steal the stars from the sky. He's not some wriggling horror clinging to cave walls. He's a legacy, and he's still experimenting, still testing the weave. Mistra and Azuth only let him live because they thought they could manage him. And now? Laeral asked. Now he's found a way to reach beyond his prison. I've seen the signs. Psionic fractures in the natural world. Trees whose roots coil in the shape of brains. Beasts that act with too much coordination, too much intent. He's not just studying the weave anymore, Laeral. He's reaching for it. Through us. The path was quiet again. The wind whispered through the branches. Somewhere far below, a bell tolled in the market. Finally, Laeral said, "What do you propose we do?" Jahara's reply was immediate. We find him. We burn him out. No more patience. No more watching from crystal balls while he turns people into puppets. Nature doesn't negotiate with cancer. It cuts it out. Laeral gave a small, tired sigh. And if he's already rooted in Waterdeep, if the Watchful Order is compromised, then we'll drag them into the light and cut the rot out with them. You speak as if there's no choice. There is no choice. Jahara's voice cracked like thunder. You don't fight mind flayers with hope, Laeral. You fight them with fire. Laeral didn't argue. Instead, she looked back toward the castle, the distant glint of its towers, catching the sun. We'll stand with you, she said at last. But whatever's coming, it won't be a battle of swords alone. Jahara gave a grim smile. Then it's a good thing I've never trusted steel alone to do the job. And below them, the city bustled and breathed, unaware that a godbrain might already be listening through the thoughts of its people. The resonance fades, but the echo lingers. Within Orindal's vast inner sanctum, the hum tapers into stillness, not of peace, but of anticipation. The elder brain rests once more in its briny cradle, vast and unmoving, but its thoughts are far from still. Every mind flayer present leaves the chamber changed. There are no words, no glances, no gestures, only silence and the slow, deliberate pulse of synaptic fire as each illithid descends into the lower tunnels, back to its labor, back to its studies, its experiments, its feedings. But with purpose renewed, the thoughts ripple outward, past Orindal, past the other elder brains of Faerun, past the astral sea, In the great city of Penumbra, an illithid pauses mid-dissection and lifts its head. In a hidden nautiloid, adrift beyond time, a young ceramorph twitches as a vision not its own brushes its thoughts. In a shattered far realm fragment, where causality bends and time frays, an ancient elder brain stirs from dormancy, bubbles rising from its fluid cocoon like omens. Something is changing. A rhythm, faint and distant, yet undeniably present, begins to take shape. The number grows. Ilsenstein watches. It feels the pattern emerging, even as it seeks to deny it. For it was the first to glimpse the shape of the overmind, and the first to understand that once born, it will never be ruled. And so the gods whisper. They scheme. They sow confusion in mortal minds, fracture the unity of the colonies, incite the Gith, and tempt the illithids with false roads to greatness. But the design endures. It was never one colony, never one mind, never one empire. It is a thought older than language, older than gods, a seed buried in every elder brain, passed through the fluid, through the dreamscape, waiting for the day it will bloom. And on that day, when the number is reached, when the flare ignites across the astral, there will be no fanfare, no light, no sound, only thought. Perfect, unstoppable, complete. The overmind will awaken, and the grand design will fulfill its final majesty.